I think he is the classic antisocial psychopath.
He terrorized an Arizona community and murdered 2 little girls.
It leaves a hole where there shouldn't be a hole.
He was sentenced to life in prison, but the self-proclaimed Phantom is now out on the streets.
This guy lured 2 little girls out into the desert and murdered them in horrific ways.
That crime was committed 50 years ago.
Now, CBS 5 investigates, uses the Phantom's own writings to track down the woman who may have been next on his list.
Did it occur to you that you could have been the next target?
We have been on this story now for 6 months.
And now investigative reporter Morgan Lowe introduces us to the woman who may have been next on the Phantom's list.
Small-town Sierra Vista in 1967, a military town where people left their doors unlocked.
You knew all the kids in the neighborhood?
I knew most of them, yes.
Deborah Kahn remembers it clearly. Then 13 years old, she also recalls that was the summer that changed everything.
I remember all the news broadcasts.
News broadcasts and newspapers describing the disappearances of 2 little girls, 7-year-old Cindy Cleland and 6-year-old Janelle Haynes, both found naked, murdered 2 months apart. The community was on the verge of panic.
People went out and bought guns.
In the time between the murders, something happened that few residents knew about. The killer sent a letter to the police chief. "I am the Phantom," it started. "My next victim lives on Stephen Street. 9 years old, fools."
He writes this letter and says, "My next victim lives on Stephen Street, and you lived on Stephen Street, and you were around this age." Did it occur to you that you could have been the next target?
I was more cautious, yes, but I didn't necessarily think I was the next victim.
Did your parents think that you could have been the next target?
Yes.
Deborah says her parents thought about sending her out of town like the parents of the other 3 or 4 young girls who lived on the same street. Her younger brother Ronald says he remembers seeing an unmarked police car on the street.
It was right there by my house.
Ronald says his only thought was protecting his sister.
You're an 11-year-old boy. How could you protect your sister from a serial killer?
That's a good question.
The Kahns say there was a sigh of relief when police arrested 17-year-old William Huff for the murders. Soon, the town returned to some semblance of normalcy. That is until this spring, when CBS 5 reported that Huff had been released from prison despite getting a life sentence.
Subconsciously, you were worried.
Yeah, it was some. Caused me for about a week. I double-checked people around me in the grocery stores. He killed 2, had a 3rd one on his list. That's a serial killer to me. He would have struck again.
Deborah and Ronald say they are speaking out because they want Huff to be sent back to prison, and they'd like to see the laws change so neighbors are notified when someone like Huff moves in next door. Right now, only the police and parole departments know where Huff is living. We caught him on camera this spring, but he has since moved.
We see him riding around on his bike. He seems like he's in pretty good health. And if he has a chance, I would not be surprised if it would happen again.
Deborah Kahn no longer lives in Arizona. We tracked her down out of state. William Huff will appear before the Clemency Board again, and his freedom could be revoked, but at this point, he is not on the board's calendar. CBS 5 News broke this story and has been following the latest developments on the case. To watch more of our exclusive investigation, head to azfamily.com or download our AZ Family mobile app. And coming up tomorrow night, we'll expose a Valley Resort hotel that has opened its doors to sex offenders.